at this point in time, where we are starting at 5 minutes past 2. We allowed it 5 minutes for people to get on board, to work on their internet connection and get online. And I'm glad to see all of you here. You're welcome to our Zoom meetings, to our lessons, to our help lessons. These are free lessons, so you can always send this link to your friends who have gadgets to join and also benefit. So we are going to have a lesson today, and the topic is going to be anti-corruption. Like you can see it displayed on this screen. That is the topic we are going to cover. We are going to have only 2 lessons this holiday of English. Yes, we are meeting today and next week on Monday, same time. So you should take this lesson serious. Let's all observe silence. Let's try to learn from one another because we don't have a lot of time to waste. Greeting people, wasting time, and doing any other things that have not brought us on board. So the rules are, if you must make a submission, you raise your hand and Isaac is going to unmute you and you speak. When we agree to do research, kindly get to your Google Chrome or any website you're using, do the research and share your findings. It's good practice. For an online engagement to thrive, people must cooperate and do good things together. So Isaac, kindly take us to the next slide and we delve into our lesson. Thank you very much. These are our lesson objectives. I'm going to ask Melissa to read them out for us quickly.
Okay. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to differentiate corruption from anti-corruption, define at least 5 types of corruption, use direct and indirect speech to report about corruption cases, construct at least 5 correct sentences using the appropriate vocabulary related to anti-corruption.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more? Okay, I'm connect. Now some. Okay, thank you so much, Melissa. Those are our objectives. I expect that by the end of this lesson, we are going to be able to define corruption, define anti-corruption, and then know the difference between those two. Later on, we're going to discover the different forms of corruption and to see if any of those are happening in our society and what we can do about it. We shall also learn how to use vocabulary that is related to corruption when you're discussing corruption. In case you're taken to a TV show, in case you're making a presentation, recording your podcast, are you going to be able to know the vocabulary related to corruption? Are you going to know the difference between bribery, nepotism, and any other forms of corruption, as we are going to see in this lesson? That is why we're can you be able to report it? In case there is a scenario at your school and maybe someone is corrupt and you're called upon to report, will you be able to use the right vocabulary, the right words, and everything? Yes, we should be able to do that. I'm seeing people saying they can't hear anything. Is there anyone who can hear me? If you can hear me,
Yes,
just
madam.
yes, that's good. Ah, all right then. So people who can't hear me, try to work on your microphones. Make sure you can use your device's microphone, or you have allowed it to be used by this same app. Faith says she can't hear anything, but I am hoping that at least other people can hear me. So Isaac, shall we still continue with our presentation? Kindly give us the other slide away from the objectives. Yes, please. Yes, yes. Isaac,
Yes,
kindly display our presentation.
I've displayed it.
How come I can't see it? Are other people seeing it? Other people, can we see what Isaac is displaying?
Yes.
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 Okay.
Excuse me, teacher, we are not getting you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh, that's good. So we have moved on to the next slide, which brings us to the very definitions of our topic of discussion. What is corruption? Is there anyone who can define it for us? Anyone? You raise your hand and Isaac is going to allow you to unmute. Then you define for us corruption. What is corruption? Do we know it? When it happens to us, can we identify it? Or do we think that we are doing other people a favor, or they are doing us a favor, yet in actual sense we are betraying public trust? Any volunteer to define for us corruption? Infinix, I can't know your name, but maybe please speak.
My name my name is Sengindo Josiah.
Oh
And
yes, Josiah.
term corruption is defined as like doing something illegal, like or taking money illegally, do something illegal.
Yes, that's true. That's right. Thank you so much. I like that definition. Doing something illegal, especially when it involves taking some money from someone to do something for them. Thank you so much. I have Ariel.
Corruption is a dishonest conduct, especially by those who have power, and involves bribery.
Thank you very much. Dishonest conduct. I've seen some other sources giving us dishonest or fraudulent, where you're in power and you choose to do something very dishonest, something you wouldn't be proud of, something you can't talk about, but you're doing it because you're in office and you're using your power to do it. Thank you very much, Ariel, and that is a correct definition. Then we have something called anti-corruption. Yes, we know corruption now. All the misbehavior, dishonesty, bribery, taking money from people. And now, what is anti-corruption? Anyone? Can anyone volunteer to define it for us? You raise your hand. My co-host Isaac, do you think you can define anti-corruption? Isaac? Josiah again. Josiah wants to give it another try. Go ahead as we wait for Isaac to get his definition right. Yes, Josiah? I think you're still muted. Oh, Josiah can't speak. Alicia, thank you. Yes, Alicia. Alicia and Josiah, if you can speak, please. Oh, I see many hands now. Faith, if you can unmute and tell us what you understand by anti-corruption. What comes to your mind when you hear that phrase, that word, anti-corruption? No. Yes, Alicia.
Anti-corruption. These are activities intended to prevent or reduce corruption.
I like that. Thank you so much. These are activities that you will deliberately do or take part in to curb down, to prevent, to alleviate, to just bring down and prevent and bring an end to corruption. Anything you do to frustrate corrupt officers or friends is called anti-corruption. Thank you very much. Anti is like the opposite of corruption. If someone is corrupt for you, what will you do to oppose it, to make sure it doesn't happen successfully? Thank you so much, Alicia, for that wonderful explanation. Is there any other person who has a different thought on what they think anti-corruption is? Yes, Melissa.
Anti-corruption is when people gather to fight against corruption.
Amazing, amazing. When people come together and bring their thoughts on table to see how they can bring an end to corruption. What they're doing is the anti-corruption move. And I like that we know what it means. In case you joined into this lesson and you didn't know the difference between corruption and anti-corruption, I believe that by the end of this lesson, you will be the one to even do the lesson recap, showing us that you can actually differentiate the two. So corruption, like we said, is dishonest behavior, especially by those in power. Then anti-corruption is an effort or an action that can be done to prevent corruption from happening in our society. Well, I know that corruption has different forms. Yes, it comes in different faces. Do we know any forms of corruption? Can we share? Just outline, just mention, and later on we shall try to define them. In case you can give us a form and define it, well and good. You can tell us that for me, I know this and it means this. However, it is also okay at this point of our lesson for you to just give us the name of a form. I'll be proud of people who can define those forms. So let me start with Martina, since she's not said a thing. Martina, any form of corruption that you know? Yes, Martina, you're unmuted. Go ahead and speak. Yes, Martina. I can't hear you. Yes, Brielle, your hand was up. You can now unmute.
Bribery.
Yes, bribery, that's a correct form. Do you know what it means?
Giving out money so that an evil act is carried out.
Yes, giving someone money to do something for you, especially if it is illegal. Even if it is legal, but let's say you're looking for a job and you're not the best candidate, so you've not got that job on merit, you have to pay a bribe. Yes, what you pay is called a bribe. And then they will forego people who are well qualified, befitting the job, and they take you up because you have bribed. That is a form of corruption. If you ever do it and you get this job not on merit, but by giving people some cash, that means it is a bribe and you're taking part in corruption. Thank you so much, Brielle. I saw Melissa's hand. Melissa, your hand was up, so you can share before I hear from Martina again and Alicia.
I was going to give bribery, but bribery
Mm-hmm.
has other types like voter bribery.
Mm-hmm. What does that mean?
It's like you pay, like for example, you want maybe a position or you want to be among the elected leaders, you can bribe voters or you pay them money so that you can pass through.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm very glad you know that. And many people do it. They bring some gifts. In some villages, people are given salt, some little money, some cups for them to vote someone into power. What does that mean? That person doesn't have the qualities of a good leader, so they have to buy the votes through bribery. They have to give some people some things for them to be favored. Thank you so much. Thank you, Melissa. Alicia, which form of corruption do you know?
Extortion.
What does that mean?
This is the practice of obtaining something, especially money, through force of threats.
Thank you. Do you know how that happens?
Yes.
How?
Like threatening, like if there are some people in the government who have committed crimes, they are threatened to give out money so that their crimes are not like exposed to the world.
Yes, that's a form of extortion where you harass and coerce someone into giving you money they wouldn't rather give you willingly, and you threaten them. Some people use blackmail, like, okay, we know this, we have evidence, we have the receipts, we are going to publish them in the papers. If you don't give us these amounts of millions, that is a form of corruption, financial corruption, and it is called extortion. You extort money from someone or something. Sometimes people want, they will say, you're going to give us like a piece of land, or maybe like in village settings, you're going to give me like 2 sacks of beans or maize for me to cause your illegal act. That is called extortion, where you force someone to give you something which they wouldn't otherwise give you deliberately. Thank you so much. Yes, Martina, I hope you can now speak. I hope your microphone will enable it. Yes, Martina? Oh, I don't know what's happening, but I can't hear you. Yes, Alicia. Then after Alicia, I'll hear from Hanifa.
There's also nepotism.
That's true. What is it?
This is the practice among those who with power or influence of favoring relatives, friends or associates, especially by giving them jobs.
Yeah, that's correct. Thank you very much. It is an act of nepotism when you give your relative, friend, your associate, someone you know, a job, especially when they don't deserve it. Like you conduct interviews, you have people who are fit for the job, but because they are not your relatives, you don't consider them. There, you're corrupt. That is how we call that form of corrupt nepotism. Sometimes it comes in different forms like tribalism, where you favor people who are from your tribe. Yes. And it has other forms when you favor friends, we shall discover in the subsequent slides. Yes, Hanifa. Hanifa, your hand was up. Still on call. Yes. Hanifa, kindly unmute your audio, not video. Hanifa can't speak. Okay. Thank you so much, Isaac. Let's move to the next slide, and I see the definitions I got to see if they tally with what you have. If we are on the same page. Isaac, kindly take us to the next slide.
Praise her. That is together.
Okay, thank you so much, Isaac. Can we have a volunteer to read for us? Any volunteer? Yes, Melissa, Amy.
Corruption is dishonest.
Melissa, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Sit down.
Corruption is dishonest or fraudulent conduct by those in power. It especially involves bribery. Other forms of corruption are misappropriation of funds, nepotism, ballot stuffing, extortion, tribalism, cronyism, smuggling, fraud, kickbacks, money laundering, and patronage.
Thank you so much, Mel, for you're such a good reader. Now I'm going to ask you people to help me define these terms. I can see we have already defined nepotism, extortion, tribalism, but there are some forms here that we have not already defined. For example, misappropriation of funds. We don't know what that means. How about ballot stuffing? What about cronyism? What does it mean? How about fraud? What's that? In case there is any term you can define among these ones, what is a kickback? What is money laundering? And what is patronage? If you can define any, just raise your hand and define for us. Yes, Debbie? Okay, I have to mute Debbie, unfortunately, for us to have a successful lesson today. So if you know you can define any of these terms that we've not defined in the previous slide, kindly raise your hand and define it for us. For example, Patronage, money laundering. If you can give more information on it, please raise your hand. If you can define a kickback as a form of corruption, kindly raise your hand. How about fraud? What's that? What is smuggling? How about cronyism and ballot stuffing? Those are the only ones we've not defined so far. So I'll start with Bethy. Yes, Bethy, can you unmute?
Fraud is a wrongful deception intended to result in financial gain.
Sorry, Bethy, I can't.
Fraud is a wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain.
Okay, do you think you can break that down further? Bethy, do you think you can explain that further?
For example, if a person intends to deceive others,
It involves a lot of deceiving. Have you been deceived
Yes.
before? Like someone makes a call to you and what did they tell you? Yes. What did they tell you when they called? Usually it is behind the phone. They call and they are giving you promises or pretending to have sent you money, which is actually not on your account. And they say, okay, if you've seen 800,000, now send me back only 300,000, you stay with the 500. Yet in actual sense, there is no money on your phone. Yes, that is fraud and it happens a lot. And young people are usually caught off guard. They easily trust strangers, even on the other end of the phone. Someone tells you, you're among our lucky winners. You're going to take a Benz from this company. So send 1 million and we process it. And before you know it, you're sending that that last bit of your savings, and you lose everything in just a blink of an eye. So fraud happens like that. Someone calls and they ask you for money. They usually they password you. It's different from extortion. The fraudsters don't threaten. They give you unrealistic offers, and then when you succumb to it, they steal from you. Hezron, your hand has been up. Maybe I can take Faith first. Yes, Faith.
I would like to explain smuggling.
Smuggling. What's that?
This is the illegal transportation of goods, maybe into a country.
Maybe into a country. It could also be into any premises, for example, a school. Okay.
Yeah.
And usually, what are some of the things that are usually smuggled into a country or a school or any place? What are some of those goods that are usually smuggled?
Drugs.
Drugs, that's correct. Any other item you think people can smuggle into a premise where it's not allowed or not recognized?
Yeah, maybe people who are trafficked.
Yes, sometimes it's human beings, and other times people actually bring in goods that are normal goods, toothpaste, whatever, name it, but they don't want to pay taxes. So what they do, they smuggle them into the country without going through URA or the actual entry points, because they know they are going to be taxed. So some people are corrupt in that way. They have a business, but they don't want to pay taxes. So they smuggle goods into the country and sell them in the black markets or in their shops, but without paying taxes. That is a form of corruption. If any one of you plans to take part in it, now you know that it is an act of corruption, and people of the anti-corruption unit are going to come for you. Now you know. Thank you so much, Faith. Yes, Alicia.
Patronage. This is a form.
Go ahead.
This is a form of corruption whereby a party in power rewards groups, families, or ethnicities for their electoral support using illegal gifts or fraudulently awarded appointments or government contracts.
Do you think you can explain that in simple terms?
Like in case, let me use the real life state. Like in case NRM wins the elections, they will like go to the people in certain districts who have been electing them, and they will give them gifts for them to for them to thank them for what they did to elect them. But those gifts will be illegal and won't be known by the government or the president.
Thank you very much.
Money or food or clothes or anything else.
That's true. Thank you so much for explaining that very well. Patronage, a situation where people will give you money, gifts, free services in exchange for your political support. Thank you, Alicia, for breaking that down. I won't even add anything. Let me hear from Melissa.
Kickbacks is an illegal payment intended as compensation for favorable treatment or other improper services. For example, a kickback is normally identified as bribery. Maybe there is something you never told, maybe you're a leader, you have some hidden facts about you, but maybe someone finds it out and threatens to expose it. They'll tell you to pay them some money to keep it hidden.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you so much, Melissa, and that's true. Kickbacks also work with contracts. If someone is giving out a contract and maybe you tell them, if you give me this contract, I will give you this portion of the money so that I take this, what you're offering is a kickback and it is a form of corruption. Yes. Or if someone says, maybe I will bring my child to this school, and then in case of a fees increment or something, the other portion, the money that is illegal, is yours. For me, what I need is the favor. So this is money you give in form of an exchange for a favor. Yes, like Melissa said, it has a lot in common with bribery, but for it takes more forms of favors and contracts. Like someone says, in Kampala here, people can say, I'll give you a portion of the money, so give me the contract. Even if you don't have the best service or the best good, someone will give you the contract because they are assured of the money of the kickback of the money you're going to give them. That one is a form of corruption. Thank you very much. I have some people who are not saying a thing, so Alicia is back to explain one other. Yes, Alicia.
Cronyism, the appointment of friends and associates to positions of authority without proper regard or to their qualifications.
Yeah, thank you. I think that is self-explanatory. Thank you, Alicia. I remember I promised you people that as we go through this lesson, you will understand another form of nepotism, which is called cronyism, where you favor your friends. These people are not your relatives, but because they are your friends, I mean, OB, OG, neighbor, like they are close acquaintances, so you give them consideration, especially for jobs and contracts. only on the basis of your friendship. Hiring your friend who is qualified is okay, but hiring your friend who is not qualified is not. Yes, that is the form that we call cronyism. Is there any word that we've not explained? Money laundering. Yes. Who understands money laundering, you people? Can you explain it to us? Anyone who knows money laundering, can you type in your website to see what you have? If you have Google Chrome, you can also find what it means. What is money laundering? And how is it done? How is it done, especially in our company?
Excuse me, ma'am, may I
Anyone?
explain if you don't mind?
Yes, Rajdeep.
Yeah. So, money laundering, it means a financial transaction that hides the origin or identity and the destination of money that has been obtained illegally. Uh, so it's like it's just a crime where you get money through illegal ways. For example, if a drug trafficker might buy a restaurant to disguise drug
Okay.
profits with the restaurant's legitimate profits.
Oh, I think you've explained it very well. Money laundering involves people pretending to be doing other things, yet in actual sense, they are receiving their money from unknown sources. Usually, this money is used to finance crime like terrorism, like human trafficking, or simply an act of bringing in money that is not taxed, especially even if you do it for investment, as long as that money is not brought in the right way, it is money laundering. Well, especially like Rajdeep has said, the money doesn't have a clear destination, but neither does it have a clear origin. That is money laundering. You see, someone has a lot of money all the time, they're exchanging their money from a different currency. They don't do anything clear. All they tell you is, I have a deal. I have a deal I'm chasing. That one is called money laundering. Yes, thank you so much, Rajdeep. Alicia, your hand is up. What you need to add? Kindly unmute and go ahead.
Ballot stuffing.
Oh, yes. What's that?
This is a form of electoral fraud in which a greater number of ballots are cast than the number of people who voted.
Okay, thank you very much. And that is a form of corruption where you feel like people may not vote you into power, so you wake up very early in the morning, vote yourself, and indeed, like the name of the crime states, you stuff the ballots. You put them to be counted, yet they were not cast by normal or real people. Thank you very much. Now that we know that that's a form of corruption, I hope we'll not be involved in it. Okay, so those are some of the forms of corruption that we have managed to talk about today. I hope you have learned a word or two, or most importantly, I hope you're now aware of the different things that fall under crime, especially under corruption, and you won't be caught off guard anytime from now. Isaac, let's go to the next slide. So in this next slide, we are talking about anti-corruption, which is the topic of discussion. So these are efforts and actions taken to prevent, expose, and combat corruption in all its forms, all the forms we've mentioned, and even those we've not mentioned. In case you take any step to prevent it, to expose it, to combat it, all you're doing is anti-corruption. Thank you very much. So these actions promote transparency. If they give you money to build hospitals, the anti-corruption steps are going to be made to make sure that you're transparent, where you buy your materials, who will do your procurement, who will do the implementation, and how much has been spent. How much more do you need, or how much are you left with? Such actions promote transparency, accountability, and good governance. When people have this open book where they can see where their taxes are going, what they are doing, yes, there is good governance happening. These actions may include whistleblowing and whistleblower protection. I need one brilliant child to explain that for me. What is whistleblowing and what is whistleblower protection? Anyone? What is whistleblowing in corruption? Don't forget, we said that by the end of this lesson, we have to understand how to use language or vocabulary that is relevant or related to corruption. So what is whistleblowing in this topic? Anyone? Whistleblowing?
Excuse me, madam, may I, if you allow me again, may I give you the definition, if you don't mind?
Yes, please, go ahead. Thank you.
So, whistleblowing is when someone, usually an employee, reveals information about illegal, unsafe, or fraudulent activity within an organization. For example, some examples of wrongdoing that whistleblowers are corruption, human rights violation, bribery, misuse of data, and etc.
Okay, thank you very much. And what do you consider whistleblower protection? What's that?
Um, Whistleblower protection. Let me think. I think whistleblower protection, maybe it refers to the protection of whistleblowers who report misconduct or cooperate with an investigation and believe that they have faced action as a result.
Thank you so much. That's correct. So whistleblowers, like Rajdeep has said, these are people that tell, especially when crime is happening. I know in some of your schools, call them snitches, you call them rumor mongers, but yes, we choose to call them whistleblowers because they are alerting the system about elements of corruption happening. We've already talked about smuggling. If there is any child who is smuggling in drugs or something, and then the other child chooses to tell the authorities, to tell maybe your teachers, to write a letter to the head teacher, to write a letter to Human Rights Commission talking about maybe an adult ex who is abusing the children by beating them or maybe sexually harassing them. That is what we call whistleblowing. And one other act that we can do as part of promoting anti-corruption is whistleblower protection. If someone tells you, are you going to go ahead and say, yes, it was Rajdeep that told me? No, you need to protect the people that give you information that you need as you're trying to curb down corruption. Thank you so much, Rajdeep. Yes, there is someone here. The name is
Well,
Infinix X, so kindly unmute and speak to us. That person is gone. So we have such acts like whistleblowing and whistleblower protection, strengthening laws, forming anti-corruption units, and very many others. Yes. So I believe by this time, we now have the background on the information we need concerning corruption and anti-corruption. I'm very confident that now you know what it means, you know what anti-corruption means, you know what it does, how it is done, and its objective. So, Isaac, let's move to the next slide. Thank you very much. Isaac, be the one to read for us what we have on this slide.
Using direct and indirect speech. Direct speech, quoting exactly what was or is said. For example, corruption is not just a crime, it is a betrayal of public trust, said the politician. The journalist said, I will not be silenced by corruption. I will speak up.
Thank you very much, Isaac. People who are using phones, you can take a screenshot of that. That is our main point of discussion. I want us to learn how to use direct speech, how to punctuate work correctly when we are using direct speech, and how to remove some punctuation marks when you are moving to indirect speech. Let's take a screenshot or take 1 minute to write these sentences. These two sentences, I'm going to give you only 1 minute to write these two sentences into your books. Thank you. I believe we are through with writing. Try to be careful with the punctuation. When you're going to report directly, it means you are saying exactly what someone said or what someone has just said, without interrupting with it, without interpreting it. You simply report it the way it is, the way you see it here. What did the politician say? Corruption is not just a crime, it is a betrayal of public trust. And how about the journalist? The journalist said, these are his actual words. You put a comma first and then open quotations and write what exactly they said, put a full stop and then close the quotations. That is how you write direct speech. If you want to end with said the politician, said Alex, said Stacy, you may want to open quotes, write what was said, put a comma first, then put quotation marks, close quotations, and then add said politician. You will not put a full stop since you're still continuing to indicate who exactly said. If you start with the person who said, then you end with a full stop and close the quotes. So I'm going to ask you to write for me at least 3 sentences using direct speech. Each one of you write at least 3 sentences for me using direct speech. And after 1 minute or 2, we are going to raise our hands and share. It is okay for you to use the chat box to write the work we are talking about, not to ask for people's digits, not to bring unrelated conversations. Kindly respect our chat box. We are going to be using it to answer the given questions. In case you have no book, you can use the chat box to write your answers. It is better for you to write in your notebook. Okay, do we have some sentences we can share? You raise your hand and tell us the sentence you've written in direct speech. People, do you have any sentence written? I prefer that our sentences keep rotating around the topic of anti-corruption, corruption cases, reporting to the jury about something corruption and corrupt. If we have our sentences rotating around a given topic, it becomes very easy for us to understand it and to even get knowledge about life and a point of discussion. So do we have any sentences that you've written in direct speech, using direct speech? Isaac, have you written anything?
I was still making up a sentence.
Okay, go ahead. How about Mark? I know Mark, have you written any sentence using direct speech? Yes, Bethy, have you got any sentence? Josiah, how about Hezron? I like the answers I've started getting. Yes, Melissa, Amy?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, please.
I made up one sentence for like related to the topic. Is it okay if I can present it?
Yes, please. Present it, then we shall listen to Melissa.
Okay. There are rumors of widespread corruption in Kenya, said the city government.
Okay, thank you very much, Rajdeep. Brielle has given us an answer here in the meeting chat. The evil of corruption reaches every corner of the world, said John. Thank you so much, Brielle. Then we have Mohozi, who said, the teacher said, corruption is very dangerous. Thank you. That's correct. Then we have Drusilla, who has said corruption is the key to failure, said that president. Thank you so much, Drusilla.
Excuse me, teacher, can I give my answer?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
Corruption hinders the development of our country, said the member of parliament. And I also have another one. Let us use the corruption hinders the development of our country, said the member of parliament.
Okay, and how did you punctuate it? Where did you put the comma? Where did you put the open quotes?
The open quotation marks started from corruption, and then I put a comma at the end of country, and then I closed quotation, and then after I put said the member of parliament.
Perfect. Now give us the other sentence.
Let us use collected taxes properly so that we develop our country and
Excuse
end
me, madam.
corruption.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, that's so
Madam.
correct. Someone wants to be excused. Who is it? Yes, hi, Haitham.
Corruption is honest.
Corruption is? I've not heard that.
Corruption is dishonest.
Uh-huh. Do you want to make that direct speech by telling us who said that?
Like when a member of parliament is given money for buying iron sheets, like this one who was expelled from the parliament. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Katuma, for that input.
Okay.
Yes, Melissa. Melissa, your hand is up.
Let us put what we study into action in order to fight corruption, said the teacher. Should I repeat? Should I repeat my answer?
Okay, waiting this correctly.
Should I repeat my answer?
Yes, please.
We should put what we study into action in order to end corruption, said the teacher.
Oh, thank you very much, my dear Melissa. Isaac, can we now go to the next slide?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes, please.
Corruption may be stopped, said by teacher.
Okay, corruption may be stopped. Can you kindly tell me, Katuma, how you've spelled that how you've punctuated that sentence? Have you put any punctuation marks? Have you put any commas? Any
comma?
Where? Yes, where did you put the comma? Katuma, are you still there? If you can, please type your answer in the chat box. Let me see how you punctuate it. Try so much to punctuate your work correctly. But thank you very much for that input. Someone here has a name as ITEL P32. Kindly unmute and tell me what you want to say.
We should avoid corruption in order to have a peaceful governance, said the government.
Okay. Said it has to be something. Said the government officer, or maybe said the police officer, said the teacher. Thank you so much for that wonderful input. Let me see. I think we have some more answers here. Let me read them and then we go to the next slide. Corruption is a big impact on everyone, said the judge in the anti-corruption court. Haley said, if corruption continues, Uganda will never develop. I like that all of us are punctuating this correctly. Then Stace said, corruption in Uganda is on high increase, said the police. The doctor said, corruption is all around Uganda. Thank you. Then Melissa said, corruption isn't permanent. We can end it, said the politician. Thank you so much for those wonderful answers. Isaac, let's move to the next slide. Do we have any volunteer that can read for us the tips we have here? Yes, Melissa, thank you.
Tips. Mind the tense changes. Mind the use of personal pronouns. Timing. Search. Find the different changes that are likely to happen if you are changing sentences from direct to indirect speech. Activity. Speaking. Share your findings with the rest of the class.
Thank you so much, Melissa. So when we were starting this lesson, before some people joined the lesson, I gave you a simple assignment to help me find the differences between direct and indirect speech, or what changes when you're converting your sentence from indirect to direct speech or vice versa. So I'm going to give you 5 more minutes. You conduct that research. You can do it online. You can do it in textbooks and find the differences. You can tell us what happens in direct speech and how it changes. I'll give you an example. For example, if someone says, I will meet Rita this evening. If you want to report that or put it in indirect speech, you will find yourself saying that she said she would meet Rita that evening. So I want you to tell me that will becomes would, today becomes that day. Those are some of the answers I need. And someone here says he's already done. I don't know if that's she. Senoga says he's already through with the work, but I'm going to ask him to just give us 1 minute and we allow people to do research here and there. Then we can start the activity in like 3 minutes from now. Yes, for now, be ready with your answer and maybe an example to support it or back it up. It's very important for you to make the changes. When you don't, your answer becomes wrong, or your utterance or what you say becomes wrong. So let's gather our answers and we shall share our findings in just a few minutes. Okay. So let's start sharing. I want to start with Senoga, who was the first to get ready. Senoga, kindly share with us.
Yes, madam.
Share with us the changes you found.
The present tense changes to the past tense. The past tense changes to the past perfect tense. The present continuous changes to the past continuous. Then I think then there's some verbs that change, like he, I, like I in the direct speech changes to he or she. Will changes to would. Tomorrow changes to the following day. Next changes to the next. Now changes to then. I think that's all.
Okay, I thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. It's very important for us to know these changes. Do we have any other changes that we have found? You raise your hand. Senoga has given us a number of them, but now I need other people to give me their findings too. What are the changes that you encounter when you're converting a sentence from direct to indirect speech? You raise your hand and share with us. Alicia, you're so quiet. I don't know why. Have you got some more changes? Yes, Alicia, your hand is already up. Thank you.
Present simple to past simple. Present continuous to past continuous. Past simple to past simple. Present perfect to past perfect. Will future to would plus bear in infinity. Had to have to had to. That's all.
Okay, thank you very much, Alicia. Yes, don't worry, we are going to have some examples in the next slide. Even our assignment captures all this. We are going to have to convert these sentences. But thank you very much, Alicia. Yes, Melissa? Melissa? Melissa Imi, you're unmuted. I don't know why we are not getting your voice. For now, let's be hearing from another person who's
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm going to be changing from direct to indirect. I'm starting with the direct speech, then indirect speech.
Okay.
Now, then, today, that day. Tomorrow can change to the following day, the next day, the day after, and then yesterday, the previous day, or the day before. The next day changes to following day. Ago changes to before. 2 years ago changes to 2 years before. Here changes to there. Will changes to would. Shall changes to should. Can changes to could. Must changes to had to. And then the pronouns, indirect speech, you changes to him, her, they, he or she in indirect speech. Us changes to them. I and me changes to him or her. Us changes to them. These changes to those. This changes to that. We changes to they. And us changes to theirs. That's all.
Oh, amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much, Melissa. Now I have another Melissa, but for her, she's also called Chirabo. Chirabo, what do you have for us?
Well, using direct speech to when changing direct speech to indirect speech, the models used in the sentences change, like can becomes could, may becomes made, must becomes had to. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you so much, Melissa, for giving us that highlight on the modal verbs. they also change. Yes, they do. And once you don't change them, your sentence in direct speech becomes a bit faulty. We are going to see in the subsequent slides. But before I leave here, I see Alicia's hand is up. Let me see what she has.
Was or were changes to had been. Do or doesn't changes to did not.
Okay.
Will or will changes to would, can to could, may to might. Was or were, had been, are, were, is, was. Is changes to was.
Okay, thank you very much. So those are some of the tips we must have at the back of our mind whenever we are doing assignments concerning direct and indirect speech. One big tip you must not forget is that indirect speech, we put those quotations. In the previous slide, where people were giving answers in the chat, you saw people were quoting. But if you want to report the work, you will start by removing the quotation marks, and then you present the work the way it is supposed to be. So let's go to the next slide and see how what we've talked about can be applied in actual sentences. Isaac, kindly take us to the next slide. Thank you so much. This brings us to our assignment. These sentences are moving from direct to indirect speech. I want you to report them. Yes. Some judge somewhere was saying that, yes, he said this, I always wake up. Can someone put this in indirect speech? I want us to first mute for a second, and then we write the answers down. Then we're going to share them, and then we shall go to the next slide and reverse these sentences from indirect to direct speech. And maybe that will bring us to the end of this lesson. So don't get tired. We are almost coming to the end of the lesson. As I can see, Muhozi wants clarity on the changes in tenses. Kindly take heart and pay attention. We are going to make it all clear as we attempt this assignment. Yes. So let's mute and get busy. Let us try to answer these questions so that when I pick you, you're ready to answer at least one of these 5 questions. They are just 5. Yes, Rajdeep, I see your hand is up. Rajdeep, kindly unmute. Rajdeep can't speak. Maybe let's hear from Debbie. Yes, Debbie, please unmute.
Yes, madam. Hello?
Yes, Rajdeep, your hand has been up. Do you want to answer any of the questions?
Yes, madam.
Okay, go ahead. It is okay. Just raise your hands if you want to answer. I'll give you permission to unmute and you answer. For now, let's hear from Rajdeep, and he will be followed by Debbie. I'll be allowing you to unmute. Just raise your hand when you have the answer. Yes, Rajdeep, go ahead.
Yes. So I'm gonna do number 1. The judge said that he always wakes up to go to court.
Okay, thank you very much. That's correct. Some people may also argue that they want to keep it in the past tense. It is also okay. As long as something is recurrent, someone can be reporting it and it is still happening, yet it also happened in the past. So someone can give that answer that Rajdeep has given. The judge said that he always wakes up to go to court. Yes, but another person can also give us another correct answer by saying that the judge said he always woke up to go to court. Okay, thank you, Rajdeep. Then now, Debbie, you can unmute.
Number 5. Nyonjo asked me where I was.
Are you sure about that? Where have you been? Someone told us that have becomes had. Do you want to give us another answer, Debbie? Yes, Debbie? Yes, Alicia?
I'm going to answer.
Alicia?
Yes, I'm going to answer 3.
Number 3?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The police chief said that they would confiscate smuggled goods.
Okay, correct. Thank you so much. That's correct. That is Alicia. Yes, someone has Galaxy S6. I don't know the name, but feel free to unmute.
Okay, I'm answering number 5. Madam? Is it madam?
Yes.
I'm answering
Yes,
number 5.
5.
Yes. Nyonjo asked me where I had. Nyonjo asked me where I had been.
Yes, thank you. That's correct. Nyonjo asked me where I had been. Yes, that is how you put it in direct speech. Thank you. Thank you so much. Senoga, please unmute.
Madam, I'm first requesting for pardon number 1. Hello? Madam.
Senoga, you want help with number 1?
Yes, madam.
Melissa has sent the answer in the chat box. Kindly check it out.
But I thought come changes to come.
Sorry?
Doesn't go change to come.
No. It's not a must.
Yes, madam.
It is not a must. In some sentences, it stays the way it is, especially if it's not a request.
Yes, madam.
If someone requests you to go, then maybe if you're reporting it, you will have to change it from go to come. But if it's not a request, then it stays just like that.
Yes. My presentation, Pete has asked me whether the investor had paid the taxes.
Okay. Do you want to change number 4?
No?
Hmm.
Peter has asked me if the investor had paid the taxes.
Come again. Peter has asked.
Peter has asked whether the investor had paid the taxes.
Yes, whether the investor has, because this is not in the past tense, Peter has just asked if the investor has paid the taxes. Yes, thank you. That's correct. Let me see. Mondo. Mondo, please unmute and give us your answer. People, I allowed Mondo to unmute and speak, but I think his network is not that good. Mondo, please. Oh dear, your network is not very good. Sorry about that. Alicia, do you want to answer the last question we have?
I'm answering number 4. Peter asked whether the investor had paid the taxes.
I want you to pay keen attention to the tense. Because we have Peter has asked, not Peter asked. Then, like Peter has just asked, please report it as if it has just happened.
Peter had asked.
Peter has asked.
Had.
Since it's S.
So doesn't has changed to had?
No, that has outside the quotations is supposed to guide you on the tense. You know, like something has just happened. It is very different from a question that has the investor paid the taxes? Peter asked. That one is way back in the past. But now Peter has just asked, like right now, a few minutes ago. not so long ago, Peter has asked if
Peter has asked
Mm,
whether the
mhm.
investor has paid the taxes.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You have to be very keen with the tense, otherwise you may lose a good mark. Thank you so much. Uh-huh. Now I need one volunteer to answer for me. Number two, that warning. Who can answer it? Any volunteer? Any volunteer? Alicia, your hand is up. Does that mean you're willing to answer it?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
The police officer warned the youth not to be engaged in corruption.
Wow, thank you. That's correct. The police officer warned the youth not to be engaged in corruption. What did he say? Do not be engaged in corruption. So he warned them not to be engaged in corruption. Thank you so much. I think we've answered all the questions here concerning direct to indirect speech. So Isaac, please take us to the next slide and we see if we can actually convert these sentences from indirect back to direct speech and spell or punctuate them correctly. Yes, converting sentences to direct speech. So these are only five questions. And the instruction is change the following sentences to direct speech. Please remember to put the inverted commas and make the necessary changes. Yeah, we have 5 questions. You can use like 5 minutes to prepare the answers, and then I will be asking you to answer, to unmute and give me the answer. Thank you very much. Isaac, prepare to answer at least one of these questions. And let me see who else. Some people are very quiet. I don't know why. Hanifa over there. Let me see if you can talk. Hanifa? Hanifa, have you tried to speak? Can we get your voice? You see it. Yes, Hanifa, your hand is up. Unfortunately, Hanifa can't speak. If she's speaking, I can't hear her. So I'll ask Mondo once again. Yes, Mondo, please unmute. You will fall down. Mondo, maybe you will just use that meeting chat because we can't get your voice very well. So I don't know. Isaac? Yes, Isaac?
May I answer question 2?
Question 2?
Yes.
Go ahead.
I am going home after watching the film, said Mark.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so much. She has changed into I. Was is becoming am. I am going home after watching the film, said Martha. Now, Isaac, I want you to go to the meeting chat and write for us these 2 answers. One starts with Martha said, quote what she said. And another answer to the same question ends with said Martha. Write both of them. I see if you know the way we punctuate them. Isaac, is that simple for you to do?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and write it for us in the meeting chat. Yes. Hanifa, I'm going to give you another chance to see if we can hear your voice. I have a feeling you have not used your device's audio. That's why we can't even see your audio message. Debbie? Yes, Debbie? Mm, Debbie.
Number one.
Yes, please.
Number one.
Mm.
Have you brought the document? He asked me.
Mhm. Have you brought the document? That's correct. Thank you so much, Debbie. That's Debbie for us. Yes, Bethy?
Number four.
Yes, please.
Number five.
Go ahead.
I will punish the learners that are found cheating in the English examination, said the teacher.
Okay, thank you. That's correct. Let me see who else. Yes, Ariel.
Number 4.
Mhm.
Please forgive me. The smuggler begged.
Begged the judge. You must include also the judge. Maybe you can say, Judge, please forgive me. Yes, that's how we shall know that the smuggler begged the judge, not any other person. Do you think you can rephrase that, Ariel, to have it correct?
Please forgive me. The smuggler begged the judge.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That's correct. I can see Bethy's hand is up. Bethy?
Number 3.
Yes, please go ahead.
The judges said there are many corruption cases.
Okay, thank you very much. That's correct. So, friends, let's write our answers in the meeting chat to show if we know these answers, to show that we know how to spell and punctuate. Melissa is saying, but teacher, there is no please in the question. Now, that is the only statement that shows that you're begging. It is just like how someone says, if you're reporting a command, someone says, get out of my house. You will say, he commanded him to leave his house. The command is felt in the tone of presentation. Okay? So don't get confused that please is not in the statement. That is the only word that can show someone is begging or asking to be pardoned in a polite way. Yes, Alicia, do you have something you want to add to this?
Number 1. I'm going to answer number 1. Have you brought the document? He asked me.
Okay. Thank you so much. That's correct. So, friends, we are going to use like 2 minutes to write the answers in our books. Take a picture and send on our WhatsApp group. If you're not in the WhatsApp group, then you may need to talk to Isaac to help you to get on the WhatsApp group. But I want you to write for me those 5 answers and then take a picture, which you will send to our WhatsApp group after this lesson. Let's keep the questions displayed. There are 5, right? And you will send me answers. You will send me answers on the WhatsApp group.
How can we join that group?
Who is this that is not on the WhatsApp group? Let me see. Hi, Thumb. Kindly, Isaac.
Yes, teacher.
Please help all the people that want to join the WhatsApp group. Maybe you can share your contact or something, or give them the link, something that they can use to get on the same platform with us. And then those of you that are already on the platform, please write your answers, take a picture, and send to the WhatsApp group. I want to see that you have written something down. And especially, I want to see that you're punctuating this work correctly. Be keen with punctuation because I will be looking out for it. So as we come to the end of this lesson, do we have any questions? Thank you, Isaac. Your answer, your number is well captured in the meeting chat. People, if you need to join the WhatsApp group, kindly text Isaac and he's going to help you with a link or help give your number to the admin to add you to our WhatsApp group. Do we have any questions? Do we have any questions? Have we finished writing our 5 answers? Yes, please. Good people, have you finished answering the questions? Can we move to the very last slide? Alicia? Alicia?
Yes, please.
Have you written your answers down?
Yes, madam.
Have you finished writing all the 5?
Yes, madam.
Do we have any student that is still left behind and is still writing these? Please raise your hand. We don't want to leave you behind. If you know you're still writing, we don't want to leave you behind. But I think this time is enough for all of us to have these answers written. So Isaac, take us to the next slide, and I'm going to ask Melissa. Is Melissa still on? Melissa, are you there?
Yes.
Do you think you can summarize for us what we've covered today, starting from corruption, anti-corruption, the forms of corruption, direct speech and indirect speech, and give us like a general review of the lesson?
Yes, I can.
Okay, please go ahead. I thank you very much. Please go ahead.
So today we looked at anti-corruption as the topic. We looked at the definitions of corruption, anti-corruption, the forms of corruption, and their definitions.
Melissa?
Yes?
Just give us a brief. You summarize corruption, what does it mean? Then anti-corruption, what does it mean? Like briefly, to help someone that joined along the way to also capture something.
Okay. We looked at anti-corruption as the topic, and the brief meaning of anti-corruption is where people gather or one engages in an activity to prevent corruption. Then we looked at corruption, and its definition is a dishonest conduct which is normally referred to as illegal, according to my meaning. Then we looked at some forms of corruption. Fraud. Fraud is a wrongful or criminal deception intended to result in financial or personal gain. Then we looked at a kickback, which is an illegal payment intended as compensation or favorable treatment or other improper services. Then we looked at using direct and indirect speech. Whereby indirect speech, we quote exactly what was said. For example, for example, this sentence, corruption is not a crime, it is a betrayal of public trust, said the politician. It means the politician said, but someone has quoted the speech. That is using of indirect speech. Then
Yes.
using of direct speech, then indirect speech. We looked at the tips, whereby we mind the tense changes, we mind the use of personal pronoun, the timing. For example, the timing can mean the tense, whereby either the tense is it in past tense, continuous tense, present tense, and so on. Then that's when we looked at our assignment. Yes, that's all I can say.
Before Melissa deserves a hand clap, please let's give her her hand clap. You've done so well, Melissa. I am so proud of you. And thank you for paying keen attention. Thank you for doing well. And I believe that even people who have joined along the way have managed to capture exactly what we have studied about. So that is it. And it is very good for you to learn to punctuate these sentences correctly, especially if you're going to use direct speech where you're quoting someone's exact words. Remember, you'll be using quotation marks, using full stops, using commas, and where you put it matters. So thank you very much. I guess I will see you next time, same day, that is Monday next week, for our last lesson. Those of you that want to join the WhatsApp group, you have seen Isaac's number. I'll be waiting for your answers, and please remember that I'll be paying keen attention to your punctuation and make sure it is correct. Thank you very much. May God bless you. May God keep you happy. I want someone to give us a closing prayer. Any volunteer? Yes, Alicia. Alicia is going to pray for us, and then we close this session. Thank you so much. Alicia, feel free to unmute. Pray.
Let's humble ourselves. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this lesson, that it has been wonderful. We thank you that you have been able to start and also end this lesson, that we have also been able to capture some knowledge that we haven't known. Lord Father, we thank you that you have helped us in every single way. May you continue helping us in everything and guide us in also other lessons as we wait for the next lesson next week. May you guide us. In Jesus' name I've prayed. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Alicia. Thank you. And everyone, thank you for attending the lesson. May God keep you blessed. May you take time to thank your sponsors, thank your parents for buying you data, for buying you phones and allowing you to use their gadgets. I know some of you are using your parents' gadgets. Please don't forget to say thank you to them. May God bless you. May God keep you safe. Bye-bye.